see you guys
momentarily.
We're live. Good morning. Today we've got the lovely Kelsey all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Yay! We've got Dr. Kiltz. He's setting up the Mighty Tribe. I'm going to say Kiltz KMT for a T-shirt. Hashtag KMT for a T-shirt to get into the giveaway. And Kelsey, while Dr. Kiltz is setting up his stuff, can you give us a little introduction? Who you are, what you do, why you're here?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Kelsey Buchalter. I'm 29 and I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. As you can see in the bottom of my underneath my name, I am a nutrition network practitioner. But ultimately, I'm just a human and I have a lifelong history of severe anorexia, bulimia, and anxiety. And after navigating my way, I was stuck in the standard of care for 20 plus years. And I found the carnivore diet in 2018 and I have not looked back ever since. So I have studied many things since I left school. But after I graduated in 2022 from studying musical theater, I needed to understand why I basically became alive for the first time in my life after so many years of struggles. And I became a certified nutrition network practitioner. And here I am. I have a podcast. I have a TEDx talk. And just, similar to Dr. Kiltz, trying to spread the word and help people.
You have a TEDx talk?
Wow.
I haven't seen it. Oh my God, I got to see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
gotta see it. I had no idea.
Have you seen Kiltz's TEDx talk?
No, not yet. Do you have one?
Not yet, right? Both of us.
Yes.
Woo! We gotta.
No,
he
does have one.
Watch
The human Ferrari.
Absolute mundo. All right, I've got Instagram, and I did put Kiltz Mighty Tribe up, so it's there. We're here. Awesome.
That's great.
Rock stars, and so keep going. Like, ultimately, what have you sort of stumbled upon that makes you go like, WTF?
So much. I didn't have an awareness that the body has an innate ability to heal itself when put in the right environment to do so. I thought that I had an antidepressant deficiency or some broken part in my brain. I even had MRIs taken of my brain to see if there was something wrong with my brain structurally. And wow. I didn't realize that I can heal if I give my body the right inputs. And that implies obviously nutrition, which is the lowest hanging fruit, but of course, all lifestyle interventions. What else? There's so many crazy revelations. I mean, I didn't know that food affected your mood. That's a big one.
Food protected your mood. I love it.
And
it also could kick it out of alignment.
100%.
Right?
100%. And then being stuck in like the mental health space, I have a love-hate relationship with that term because ultimately mental health is physical health. It's one and the same. But there's a lot of mysticism attached towards mental health. And, the whole conventional paradigm is very much viewing mental health through the lens of a character flaw. And again, going back to the fact that mental health is ultimately just brain health, i.e. physical health, I've come to learn and be very much outspoken in trying to demystify mental health. And that, of course, there is situational trauma that does evoke situational anxiety and depression. But in someone like me, where, I was born into anxiety and just crippling fear and almost unexplained mental health issues. I didn't have this quote unquote big T trauma that triggered the onset of severe anorexia. I've kind of only ever known anxiety, and, a la Dr. Chris Palmer and like Georgia Ede, we're essentially only as healthy as our mitochondria. And I have ultimately zoomed out and just seen that for me, my illness was just inflammation, and in my bio-individual predisposition, that inflammation just, manifested in my mental health. So again, going back to my main point in that, like, mental health is just physical health. And I've kind of termed, I call it reverse engineering mental health, because as I said earlier, I was stuck in the standard of care for 20 plus years. I went to every specialist physician under the sun. I was dedicated to psychotherapy, but it was only when I changed my diet and gave my cells the cellular energy and resilience, I was then able to turn within and actually apply all those 20 plus years of psychotherapy. So that's why I call it like.
And you became the psychotherapist therapist.
Well, I'm not like registered, but maybe.
Well, I'm registered and certifiable, I always say, because we created all these ideas that you must be licensed, registered, and certified that you are capable of sharing something. And the nutrition network practitioner, but also you're going out on the airwaves of the world, the energy vibrational waves, and sharing a story. Have you been certified to be able to go on the airwaves and tell your story?
Not necessarily. And you raise a really good point, because there's nothing as powerful as lived experience.
Lived
Um,
experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I read the Gospels, because these
Mhm.
are stories of humans, and ultimately, if we get back to a simple nutritional way of living, which is what is your basic premise of what's wrong with all of us?
Well, I suppose with what's wrong, I don't think anything's wrong with any of us. I think we've just been misinformed, and I think we just need the education and the encouragement and support to be able to give the body the right inputs. And ultimately, that's returning back to our natural state. So the further we've deterred from our natural state, the sicker we become.
Well, is there a proper human diet or a way of eating that maybe realigns every cell of our body with our original intent?
Yes, there is, and I call it a species appropriate diet, so the true sad diet. But of course, that also lies on a spectrum. So while I am carnivore and I definitely have a bias towards myself, I am not necessarily dogmatic, and I think people have different tolerances depending on their location in the world and their metabolic health. But yeah, I mean, I'm just in the camp of real whole foods. And as long as you're reaching your protein and you're eating enough healthy fats, I think the carb tolerance is by individual and unique for people. But I I definitely have a bias towards carnivore. So I would say that, predominantly meat-based is definitely the optimal for all of us.
Well, I think our focus on protein is wrong, by the way.
Mhm.
It's fat, it's adipose tissue, which is actually the most important tissue of the human body. The organ system of adipocytes and adipose tissue is like it. I mean, if a woman is not fat enough, she cannot be fertile. And
Mhm.
ultimately, we're drawn towards fat because that is the fuel and building blocks for our body. Protein is not. Think of muscle as just another organ system, but muscle is not protein. It's a cellular structure, which is made up of fat, proteins, and sugars. And again, I think we're sort of misinformed. But I need to take a break from something. Kelsey, could you just let me have a moment?
Of course. This is your channel. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, God bless you. So Sunday, I do my live at 10, and then I take the day off. And I apologize to the KMT group, to George, and Stephanie for missing my scheduled 1:00 yesterday, Sunday. Completely my fault, because even George in my 10:00 yesterday was saying something about see you Sunday at 1 in Sunday school, and it went like zoom past Kelsey. And so we're going to reschedule that, but I apologize for missing it yesterday. So sorry about the Kelsey. I wanted to make sure I mentioned it before we finish this mission. So what is your mission and your purpose in this space?
That is a really good question. And I think I could take this on so many tangents, but I think first and foremost is to help people internalize that they are not broken and that they are not beyond hope or help, because especially when you're stuck in the standard of care, and especially in the context of the mental health paradigm, it is very easy to feel like you're broken and you're messed up and you're treatment resistant, and you're never going to feel like you can ever find any relief or solace. And what I've come to understand as a non-medical professional coming into the space and learning what I've learned, the body is remarkable, and it's always responding the way it should according to our perceived reality and our inputs that we give it. So I hope that that empowers people to know that they have much more power and responsibility than they think they do in curating a life in optimal health, which is ultimately their birthright.
And is it possible we're simply poisoned by plants and we're eating a low animal fat diet? And by simply adding more animal fat to our diet, it might help reduce the inflammation in our body and help us heal?
Yes, that is very, very likely because, of course, every plant does have an anti-nutrient. And again, according to your bio-individual sensitivity towards them, they could very much be causing a lot of inflammation in your own body. And again, everyone has their own bio-individual manifestation of inflammation. For some, it's PCOS, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, kidney disease. Mine was mental health and gut issues.
I hear you on the gut issues.
And if you haven't read the book Meat 3 Times a Day by Schlenk, you must. And if you haven't read, what's the book, Alia?
Pottinger's Cats?
Pottinger, oh my God, you said the word.
I don't have the book with me here, though.
You know what? I don't have the book here where I'm at. Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
Back in stock, Amazon.
Pottinger's
And look at the price of it. It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It's the same thing with Christ-based teachings, which I am getting reprinted at a discount. But let's see.
Can I pop up this picture of Kelsey? We wanted to share a before picture.
Oh my God, what a beautiful woman. What a beautiful woman. Beautiful. And ultimately, we've been kind of misinformed. That's our real problem. And it partially, is it like the constant harangue that we need to be skinny and fat is bad, possibly the wrong message we're sending to all of our brothers and sisters?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Although, I mean, I very much view health through an ancestral lens, and anorexia has been documented since like the 1400s. So there is some validity in also stating that there is an evolutionary advantage for the wiring of the brain of someone with anorexia, in that it would definitely help those get through famine. However, of course, in this modern world context, with the emphasis on being thin. Yeah.
What anorexia helps us get through famine?
Well, the wiring of the brain, in that it's a reversed sort of reward system. So of course, food is very much a reward system, like a dopamine sort of hit. Of course, we're wired for pleasure, and of course, food is pleasure. But in those who have almost the reverse of that, they were much easier able to get through times of famine. So it was almost evolutionarily advantageous to have.
Right. So ultimately, it seems like in our modern world, we're pushing skinny. And you're right, for thousands of years. But I'm wondering if the plants ultimately damage the gut and damage the brain to create a condition which might be harmful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many, what I've come to learn in the research, there still isn't yet like one specific causa vera of anorexia nervosa. I think we're still trying to understand it fully, but that is very much a valid hypothesis for sure that I can definitely corroborate with.
Yeah, I mean, I say plants basically want us dead because they want us, because we're fertilizer, or like all other, the microbes and the macrobes, basically the plants and the bacteria, yeast, and viruses, we're just another living life form for them to consume. And there are infinitely more plants and microbes than humans on this earth, and they control all of it. And that's where my hypothesis and theory is. That's why I love Most Delicious Poisons. And the new book I've been reading is called Light Eaters, which basically all the photosynthesizers, they're making food for themselves. The light. Oh, and I just wanted, someone was asking me about books to read, and it's supposed to be in all of our books. In the back of the book is a list of books that Kiltz reads that have been found helpful, but you can go to drkiltz.com. Do you have a favorite book that you recommend to those that are on this journey, Kelsey?
Ooh, that is a tough one. There's so many. Well, a standard that I always espouse is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. I think that is a very, very powerful book. Regarding the more physiological side of things, well, I think Chris Palmer's Brain Energy. I think it's pretty solid, specifically in the mental health space, just to kind of demystify mental health.
Now I have a theory, because here's where the nanomotors of the cell come in, right? The nanomotors and the post-translational modification of a protein is being damaged by a plant protein low-fat diet. And I always mention protein poisoning. There is no such thing as fat poisoning. Did you know that?
Mm.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Unless it's a highly oxidized one. Even still, it won't necessarily.
I don't know that. I mean, plant oils, number one, are not even natural. They're all industrial.
Yeah.
You cannot naturally find a seed plant oil unless it's in a jar, a box, or a bucket, right? And so ultimately, except cows will die if they're fed fat.
Again, every species has its appropriate diet.
Right on. And you know, the interesting thing that I've been learning, could it be the simple low-fat diet we're eating is our number one cause of illness?
Well, I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps at all.
Well, if you ever notice butter never molds?
Yeah, I do.
Why does it not mold? Because it suppresses the microbes in the gut. And it's anti-inflammatory, it's antimicrobial. But we're not eating. I mean, the one thing that I'm sure you're teaching is we call it good fat. I don't even like the term good fat. We eat animal fat and plant seed oils. And plant seed oils, I mean, okay, we'll go for olive oil and avocado oil, but ultimately, aren't those plant oils?
Fruit oils, I suppose.
Well, there's seed oils because you can take a an avocado whole or olive whole and crush it and extract the oil. It's still a product of a seed, I think. Now you can get the olive oil that is crushed from the fruit and not the seed, where they've removed the seed. So that's kind of an interesting one. But you know, I'm
curious. I have a question for Kelsey when you're done.
No, please go ahead.
So anorexia, bulimia, that was like lifelong, or did that start when you were like a teenager and with all the pressure of going through puberty, or was that lifelong?
Good question. I would say it started when I was 3. That's when I started ballet. That's when I started ballet, and that's when the hyperfixation on my body and comparing it to others started. So again, like as I said, even before 3, I was very, very anxious, very shy. I had a lot of separation anxiety from my parents, to the point where they actually had to extend like me starting preschool by 6 months because I wasn't able to leave my mom's side. So I was kind of the perfect breeding ground for something like, you know, a few years later, anorexia and bulimia to start. So it was relatively contained through school because there was like a set structure in place. I mean, I still struggled. I still often went to psychotherapy twice a week. According to the psychologist, should have been in a clinic already. I was already restricting and binging, purging, all the things during school. But I would say S hit the fan when I left school and there was no set structure, and it became apparent to me that the world is my oyster and I can do anything and everything, and I paradoxically crippled with major overwhelm and anxiety. And that, you know, since after school was an SH1T show, basically.
I love how you swear. And then one day you were like, I'm going to eat meat, and everything was perfect. How did that happen after being...
Yeah. So I will elaborate a little bit on this because I think especially for those who are struggling or know someone who's struggling, I think the details are quite important here. But I was somewhat familiar with Prof. Tim Noakes's Banting diet in South Africa due to my dad, who is an optometrist, and he had a lot of type 2 diabetic patients. So he was very much on the pulse with the Banting diet, low carb, because that was obviously very effective for type 2 diabetics. So it always somewhat made sense to me. And just naturally, as a young girl, I always loved meat. Being in South Africa, we have really, really good fatty meat here. So naturally, I always loved meat, and I always loved the bones and the grizzly bits and all. My plate was the graveyard plate. Everyone knew that. But long story short, it always intuitively made sense to me. And I think that's maybe my primal instincts showing up, but it very much made intuitive sense to me. However, fast forward amidst my anorexia, of course, my biggest fear was fat. So my diet was very much just lean protein and like some of the green list low starch veg. But even that, like even having a green list was like, again, paradox of choice. I had major decision fatigue. It was too overwhelming for me to choose, okay, which low carb starch am I going to have today? But all I knew is that I didn't allow myself any fat. And so I was basically living off of lean protein, rabbit starvation, essentially. But yeah, I mean, going to a dietitian is kind of standard of care. And I hated dietitians so much. Well, we just didn't get on, of course. And they didn't really like me either because I wasn't willing to, eat all, well, I had to because I was enforced to when I was institutionalized. But I definitely didn't want to be eating all the processed junk food because I already knew just from, Banting diet alone that blood sugar dysregulation very much evoked mood dysregulation too. So I knew that and I could feel that it wasn't helping me. Anyway, long story short, I needed to find a dietitian, but I refused to go to the dietitians that I knew because they were just the conventional ones. And a friend of mine, she actually had fibromyalgia. And she was following a low carb diet, and she told me that she went to a specific nutritionist and I should go to her. And so that was a green flag, the fact that at least this nutritionist knew of low carb. So again, long story short, I went to her and we had like a 3-hour first session. She was amazing. We didn't even speak about food, but right at the end of the session, she's like, okay, for the next 10 days, you're only going to eat red meat, eggs. And at that time, she actually did say olive oil because according to her, I obviously know a little bit more now, but I still don't think it was inherently bad. She's like, have olive oil because it's a little bit more gentle on your tummy where you're at. I mean, at that time, I think I was 30 something kilograms, which is not very much. But anyway, it just, when she said that, something, again, I don't know if it's my primal instincts, it just made sense. And I'm like, it was almost like the permission I needed to just go home. I went home, I ate my first carnivore meal, which was boiled eggs, and my brain switched on and I've never looked back ever since. So that was 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
And what inspires you to show up and share with brothers and sisters around the world?
Well, I know what my life felt like before. And, anorexia specifically has the highest mortality rate of any psychiatric disorder. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. And I've met a lot of people who have either lost their life or are still struggling. And I find it criminal not to share that something so simple,
God bless you,
can bring back someone to life and even more. So that's why I do this. Sorry.
No, this is important. And again, it's sharing our experiences and our stories. And I got my Healing Humanity hat on today because I couldn't find my KMT hat. I don't know where I left it, but it ultimately is the stories we share around the globe. And now with social media, we're able to share it to everyone and anyone. And anorexia is a deadly condition secondary to a plant protein, low fat diet, essentially. And thinking that being skinny is advantageous, which is what we in marketing share, which is as you said, criminal. And being there and Kelsey's energy and her passion and compassion really shows through. And I think that's what, my hopes that this space for all of us and everyone should be sharing their story if they've healed in either keto or carnivore ways. And keto, paleo, carnivore are high fat diets. High fat is really the key, and fat comes from animals. But if you're in the vegan world, olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado oils will at least be of some value because it suppresses the microbes And the microbes in the gut, the good bacteria, they want to take us down and make us fertilizer. That's the part that I've learned more than anything. Are there some cues up there you want to throw?
There are some cues.
Please, that's
Let's
real
see.
important. Love the questions. We got Fairbanks, Alaska in the house today on Instagram. And we've got K Carnivore, Tanya Bailey, Mary Freed, Diane Addy, Priscilla Herring, Adriana Garzon on KMT this morning. So real important. Let's see, where I'm from, they consider me a madcap for following the keto carnivore protocol. It's so sad. I want to help my mom, but she thinks I'm crazy. But I think we need to be inspired every day, even when it's hard to put it out there, because it is hard. But go ahead, Alia.
All right. Well, first, George Goodenough says, Dr. Kills, thank you on behalf of the Sunday school team. We were able to make a good episode about you. Thanks to Deanna, Thomas, and Amy for helping out. We told our stories as how we know you. Aw.
It's our stories, and the documented stories are so important. And let's see, I'm in Sarasota, Florida. Where are you, Alia?
I'm right now in Pineda, Colombia.
And where?
In Colombia. I'm in Colombia.
and Kelsey?
Cape Town, South Africa.
And then we got Fairbanks, Alaska. Good morning to everyone. Good afternoon, good evening around the world. And whatever language you're listening to, I think there's ways that you can translate all of this through YouTube into whatever language. But we are brothers and sisters leaning to different ways of experience health and wellness.
That's right. Mary Freed has a question, but I don't know what DMSO is. Do you have
Dimethyl.
Okay. What is it, and could it be used for detox?
I don't know that answer. I mean, there's so many things. Charcoal. I was listening to Dr. Berg. He was at Costco. Oh, and then the next one was about all of the natural treatments that were written in the compendium of health and wellness before the 1930s, like in the early 20s, which cod liver oil, charcoal, and so many natural substances, colloidal silver and niacin and vitamin D and things. And so DMSO probably falls into that line somewhere. I would say go to Google and look at it. But ultimately, Kelsey, what do you think is the simplicity of what you're sharing? And maybe you could kind of give your sort of simple formula.
Yeah. Well, I think going just back to detox in general, like the body knows and should be able to do what it's made to do. So when you've got all the foundations and the basics right, i.e. nutrition, sleep, movement, community, purpose, passion, etc., all the tenets of health, those are kind of like majoring in the majors. And by default, the body should be able to do what it's meant to do regarding detoxing. That being said, can Dr. Kiltz, what is DMSO specifically?
Dimethyl sulfoxide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a dimethyl sulfoxide. I mean, is it something natural you're picking out from your grocer?
No. But I wouldn't say that regarding detox. Again, I don't think anyone has a DMSO deficiency. I think the basics would be like, really movement. In fact, I know Angie Huberman just released a really great podcast explaining the lymphatic system. And again, like movement is such a great one. Like even just like jiggling up and down and rebound is also really, really great. Sweating, so sauna, all really good natural ancestral things without necessarily needing to, take yet another supplement, which again, always has a domino effect with everything else.
What's the best supplement in the world?
According to Benazati, vitamin G, gratitude.
Literally what I'm wearing.
Oh, God.
Well, God is us, and God is within all of us, and God is love. And the more we emulate that word of I'm grateful for you, Kelsey and Alia, and everyone for stopping by. And because I'm lonely. I was telling George, I sent him a message because we're family and we're all global family. And that's where the sharing of the stories and love and kindness is critical. And Ben Zadi is the master of sharing positivity.
We have like about 200 people watching. I want to make sure everyone gets into the giveaway. So please put hashtag KMT into the chat to get into the giveaway. Let's go.
Important because and for those, if Kilts comes up, then I'm going to give something to the Instagram team or the Kilts Mighty Tribe team.
There you go.
Thank you, Frank.
You're like 18 these days.
I'm turning 16 soon.
I love that. Chris Brandlin says at Dr. Kilts, at Alia and Kelsey, see you folks in Vegas. Dr. Kilts, you're speaking in Vegas at the end of March.
What they say.
and Kelsey was so nice to give me the contact to have you speak in South Africa at the World Nutrition Summit next year. We're confirming that this week. Nice.
Nutrition
we'll
is
do a
critical
big meetup
around the world, and eating meat, fatty meat. That's it. Got to eat the fatty meat.
I can't wait for you to try South African meat.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Again, it is meat is the master meal for the Messiah, and the Messiah is within all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cradle of humankind. It's not too far.
Yeah. Yep. And then we migrated around the globe like all the bacteria, yeast, viruses, and plants, and all the other organisms. We're just migrators.
So Jerry asks a quick question. Did anorexia affect your dental health in any negative way?
It's a really good question. For me, no. I clearly won the dental lottery. I thank my mom for that. But all what I've come to understand regarding any dental or oral health is a vitamin A, D, E, K deficiency. Again, going back to the importance of fat for those fat-soluble vitamins. So if anyone is struggling, I would encourage you to just check your vitamin A, D, E, K intake, etc. But I fortunately did not have any dental health issues. I did have gut issues though, so I didn't win the lottery in that regard.
The glycocalyx is damaged because of a low-fat diet. That's why protein is not the focus, it's fat. And fat is critical. And if we simply and fat comes from an animal, and plants, seed oils, maybe even avocado and olive oil may not be the best for us. And going back to where was I going with this? Natural fat is only from animals, because you can get oils from plants, but the amount of plants you require to extract it. And since, if you think about it, everyone's concerned about olive oil being tainted or avocado oil being tainted with, but if you simply eat animal fat, how is it tainted? Not. What you go with no carb Barb, Kelsey, so great meeting you and your team at Hack Your Health. What would you say to someone who has an eating disorder and thinks they have tried everything to heal?
I will play devil's advocate and ask, have you tried everything? And what I mean by that is, have you actually tried listening to your intuition and your inner voice? Because I believe that we know what we're meant to do. We know what our genuine desire is. And I'm going to use the most simplistic example and say, well, I will use an example that is very simple in that, like, let's say you are hungry, but you feel that you need to restrict, or you're too scared to go and honor that genuine physiological hunger. In the moment, healing comes from honoring that intuition and that desire to go and eat. So without overcomplicating this, I will ask, have you tried listening to your intuition and listening to your body? And, it can be, especially if someone has lived with an eating disorder for a very long time, it can be quite difficult to pass out which voice internally is the eating disorder voice and which voice is your genuine, authentic voice, because they are technically two different people. And I think building that awareness within yourself, knowing, okay, is this the eating disorder talking or is this me talking? A great way to know the difference is the eating disorder voice is quite loud and demanding and always says, you should be doing this, you need to be doing that, don't do this. Whereas your genuine intuitive voice is very soft and gentle and calm and grounded. And just being able to cultivate the self-awareness within every moment of the day, which voice is talking. And I know it sounds almost psychotic speaking like this, but it technically is. It kind of, the eating disorder kind of develops its own personality, if you may will. And a way that you can also pass that out is giving your eating disorder a name. So in the beginning of my recovery, I called it the Black Wolf. To add some humor, you can maybe call it the monkey mind. But just know which voice is talking. And true recovery comes from being able to nourish and listen to your voice, not the eating disorders.
I am healthy and well. I am the white wolf. And I am the lioness and the lion, because ultimately we're listening to a message created within our own minds that actually messes us up. And so I always say you start with thinking. I am healthy and well. I am the lioness and the lion, and I live like that lioness and lion. And that's where the mindset comes. And my friend Max said to me, I follow the white wolf, not the dark black wolf. Right. That was a good one. Eat the fat, be the fittest. And raw fat, butter is like best, and raw is like radical amazing. And ultimately, again, it's that the monkey mind, we've all been masterfully marketed to misery. And I was talking to Mitch yesterday,
good.
old guy carnivore called Kilt. So we just had a nice long conversation. And ultimately we have to, and that's why I throw out, we create these books and ideas for us to sort of reformat the mind. I am healthy and well. I'm a lioness and a lion. And that seems to be the message you're sharing, and the white wolf is the way.
I love that. Donna, asks, what are the best fats to gain weight? My doctor told me to eat more fat.
Do you want to answer?
Well, go ahead. What's your thoughts? And we'll throw in all of our thoughts, and everyone can answer these.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it really matters. I think, to gain weight, essentially you do need to be taking in a lot more energy than you burn. However, that's not that simple. I say that, and it's not that simple, because some people, depending on where they're at and what their metabolism is doing, they can lose weight by increasing their fat intake. So it's not so simple. We still don't fully understand mammalian metabolism, but if you do tolerate dairy, then that could be quite an easy way. It's quite an anabolic. I mean, if you think of animals, newborns, mammals, they use dairy to gain weight and grow quite rapidly. It is quite an anabolic stimulus. So to our eggs, actually, quite anabolic.
Bacon, eggs, butter, beef, salt. Eat the fatty meat. Butter. My daughter, she transferred so many calories to Julio through milk. Mammal's milk is exactly doing what it's supposed to do, build fat. And fat, obesity is never the cause of disease. It's the food you ate, which is likely the cause of the damage to the glycocalyx, which is the gut. And then you diminish your absorption, but the microbes basically are killing us. And that's it. But bacon, eggs, butter, beef, and salt, the baby's diet. And because I'm here to help people have babies. There's nothing more important than making babies. That's it. No other organism waits for enough money, the right house, the right man or woman, and somehow to be, to have everything you need. They just make babies.
It's true. I wanted to read these 2 comments from Marie. Maybe you can give some direction. She says, I've had an eating disorder for 6 years. I have bulimia. I also have depression, anxiety, and PTSD plus BPD, which I don't know what that is, due to all the trauma I've been through.
Bipolar disease.
Oh, thank you.
Disorder, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you like to say?
Yeah, well, I firstly want to validate everything that you have gone through and are going through. And I, again, want to remind you that you are not beyond hope or help, and it's never too late to start prioritizing your health and your life. And I, in the beginning, for most of my life, the word healthy was a very triggering word for me. And because that meant for the anorexic brain one thing and one thing only, and that was gaining weight and becoming, quote unquote, in the anorexic mind, very fat. But exposing myself to doctors like Dr. Kiltz and all the amazing people and doctors out there having these amazing discussions all about bringing you back to your optimal health was such a beautiful support indirectly, in that eventually over time, by default, being a fly on the wall to all of these conversations with doctors and researchers and professionals, all speaking in the name of health and wellness, health no longer felt like a triggering word, and it actually felt like something that I aspired towards. And of course, true healing can only ever come from you wanting it. No one else can do it for you. You have to want it. And that goes with anything in your life, because you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I think the minute that you realize that you are just as worthy as me, as Dr. Kiltz, as Aaliyah, as Kim Kardashian, any other human in this world, of living a life in your true optimal health and well-being, the minute you realize that and internalize that, I think you'll bloom. And I'm not saying that you haven't necessarily felt that before, but I think by surrounding yourself and exposing yourself to these good exposures, like these conversations that you're listening to now, and Dr. Kiltz's podcast and all the other, amazing things out there, my podcast, if it happens to be a good resource for you, you kind of have to trick the monkey mind by exposing yourself to these good exposures. And yeah, I think, the environment in which we find ourselves, not only like literally, logistically, but also what we follow, who we speak to, who we are friends with, those definitely play a role. And if you continue to, again, surround yourself with these good exposures and things that uplift you, and you'll know when it uplifts you, that's the key, I think, the crux to having a beautiful, sustainable recovery and healing journey, which you definitely deserve.
This book is one of the best books I've ever read, listened to. The 3 Magic Words, U.S. Anderson. And because ultimately we've been brainwashed. We're brainwashed every day. And we're reformatting our own brains every day. And we're so, again, we're brought down by a message that we're incapable and we're sick, but we're healthy and well. Again, it's listening and learning from Kelsey and all of us together. The mind is the master of the mission. And you change the mind and you see the beauty of exactly where you're at and what you've experienced and the beauty of your tomorrow. And that's where faith in God, to me. And again, I have found the philosophy of JC like the most amazing, but it utilizes all human philosophy since the dawn of time. And I think that's really important because it's interesting. If you were drinking alcohol 3 times a day, would any of us be surprised of the damage to the brain? We would not.
No.
So a plant protein, low animal fat diet feeds the microbes in the gut, which ferment and make what? Alcohol.
Ethanol.
So ultimately, our gut is making alcohol based on a healthy diet lifestyle we've been all told to eat. And so our diseases are not who and what we are. We're poisoned by the words we've been taught to think and the food we've been taught to consume. And this simplicity in all of this. That's the magic of Kelsey's story, right? And yes, validate absolutely the perfect person and human being you are right now. That's what we need to do. And again, I feel so blessed to be in this amazing family, human, around the globe, together. Next question, Alia.
Sure. John Wilbur would like to know when we're coming to Pennsylvania, PA, Pennsylvania.
Soon.
Sure.
Soon.
You're going to be in Syracuse for sure.
Put it up there, and we'll map it out. That's what we're going to do in 26 is get to as many meetups, create a meetup, and even if I can't physically be there, I'm sure we can.
You can virtually be there.
We can virtually either be there. Someone from the team can be there, or we can simply, put out a podcast or short video clip.
Sure. Exactly. And then Evangelist Charles would like to know if you can join from India. Yes, you have to email me.
Let's Alia at drkiltz.com. Is that right?
That's right. Alia at drkiltz.com, all spelled out, and you are welcome to join us. Next is Callous Music. I was a BMX racer for 17 years from age 4 to 22. Used to train 6 days a week. Today, I'm not the same, a little overweight. I can't just work out right away. What's the best solution other than eating less? Oh, to lose weight. What's the best solution other than eating less?
Oh, eating the right foods. So meat and fats, I mean, those are both, protein is essentially nature's GLP-1. Can regulate your satiety. I mean, I would be interested to know what your current diet is, actually. If you can share that with us, that would be great.
It really is what you're saying is the simplicity of this story, and it really is eat nature's food. That, I mean, ultimately, you think about the work that it takes for us humans to grow the plants. That's not nature. Our hunting for the meat and the eggs are really the way, and that's why I always go back to simplicity. And there's no animal that tries to be fat or skinny. Actually, they become hyperphagic and they try to get fat for the winter, the migration, the hibernation, the gestation, and ultimately our GLP-1s that we're pushing everyone to nature's GLP-1 to be skinny is wrong too. Because it makes no sense. No animal asks for someone else to tell them what to eat, give them a menu or even a book on recipes. Doesn't exist. Nature. And what other animal cooks their food?
Yeah. I don't know who said it, but I forgot. I really wish I could credit this person, but whoever you are, I credit you. But I remember hearing that humans are smart enough to make their own food, but stupid enough to eat it.
Yes.
And ultimately, we must, you must breathe air, drink water, and eat food, and have faith in God. And ultimately, you're right. It really is simple. So again, whatever size you are is the perfection of the work right now. But ultimately, historically, is our genes to get fat actually the best genes ever created in the universe? 100%. Because if you and I had to survive a month, 2 or 3 without food, the get fat gene is the most critical gene created in the universe.
Yeah.
And eat fatty meat. Eat fatty meat. See, I don't like to say protein because technically no animal knows what protein is. It's a scientific term. But we know what animal animals are and animal fat is, and we know what plants are.
Sorry, I just thought of one thing to just comment on the previous question. I forgot the age of that person, and I'm assuming I forgot. I think did she say
Well,
it was a female, right? It was a female, right?
The
If I read
BMX biker, I don't know.
yeah.
Don't know.
No.
Don't know, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say
4 to 22 BMX biking.
yeah.
Don't know age currently.
Okay, never mind. I was going to mention something about menopause and that age because, of course, when estrogen is insulin sensitive, and of course, when we have a drop of estrogen, we do see an increase in 43 male. Never mind. Sorry, it does not apply to you, but for females listening, menopause.
And is menopause natural to humanity?
Yeah.
It's natural.
Anyone with functioning ovaries will go through the menopause transition.
If they live long enough.
Yeah.
And ultimately, many men and women have hot flashes, mood swings, sleep disturbances, osteoporosis, and yet they don't have a depletion of estrogen or testosterone. And so ultimately, the plants are simply poisonous to humanity. And that may be the simple thing because no one, I mean, the anaphylactic reaction to ribeye steak is very rare.
Yeah.
But plant poisoning and plant allergies are very common.
Yeah, they are. And I think you also have to consider all the environmental toxins that we're swimming in right now too, which also,
Huge.
Huge.
But the biggest culprit are still nature's plants and the microbes that are killing humanity. Because we recommend a lot of fruits and fiber and vegetables, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We
don't, but people do.
Right. We as humans do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the story that we've all been crazy about.
Humans are actually one of the very few animal species that women survive after menopause. All other animal species, the females die once they reach menopause. Yeah.
I had no
they
idea.
have much longer reproductive lifespans. Also. And
the other,
and ultimately is menopause really our biggest problem is because we have not seen millions of people that were carnivore for like generation after generation after generation. So we don't know the real effect of all of that on our longevity and our, and our reproductive lifespan also. See, I believe that pelvic inflammatory disease, infertility, endometriosis, PCOS are fermentation of plants in the gut, and the fermentation increases the microbial count, which goes out the rectum, anus in women and right into the vagina, and ultimately through the epithelium of the gut. And plus, it makes alcohol, which is highly toxic to the liver, the kidneys, the brain, the ovaries, the testicles, and all of it. So
yeah. You should talk to Dr. Andrea Salcedo if you haven't yet done so.
You have
you. Okay, then amazing.
Yeah, we should get her back though. You just reminded me. We should get her
back. Yeah. I mean, vitamin A is one of her mostly used supplementation, specifically for the gut, as it is essentially like a prebiotic, I think, for the gut, and specifically with endometriosis.
Well,
so she uses cod liver oil.
Well. So if you put bacteria and yeast in cod liver oil, what will happen to them?
I don't actually know.
They will die.
Oh.
Because that's why the fat is so critical. It keeps the microbes in a low level of growth because you don't want a high level of microbial growth. And if you haven't read, if our listeners today haven't read The Relationship of Alimentation and Disease by James Henry Salisbury, this guy's book is radically amazing. Basically, probiotics and prebiotics are not your friend. Remember, the microbes are everywhere. They're miles up in the stratosphere and they're miles down in the soils of the earth. They're in the hottest of hot, the coldest of cold. And they will outlive any and all of us. But someone has basically created snake oil science that we've got to feed the microbes in your gut, which is all BS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very much, again, I take a minimalist approach regarding supplementation. I'm very much a food first person. But vitamin A, obviously, like specifically from cod liver oil, is essentially like a real whole food. And it's got the prebiotic / probiotic touted in the science properties for the gut, supposedly.
Well, but if we didn't even use the words prebiotics and probiotics, because again, they're words that are in vogue, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, what microbe would you like in your bloodstream?
None.
What about your brain? None. And so the problem with the diet we are generally eating is colitis, Crohn's, IBS, esophagitis, tonsillitis, inner ear diseases, which are all secondary to what? The microbes flourishing on a low-fat, protein, plant-based diet. That's the simplicity of the story. That's why this idea of proteins are real important. They break down to sugars and they're all fermentable. But a high-fat diet, and again, adipocytes, and without it, we're dead. And that's why you're right. Anorexia is one of the most lethal conditions of a human being. Because what do we need for true survival?
Fat.
We need visceral fat. We need subcutaneous fat. We need perinephric fat. We need fat for survival. Our butts and boobs are fat sinks for survival. And without it, we can't reproduce.
There you go. We never answered this Callous Music's question, but we need to know what he eats.
Well, I can't see it. What's the question?
It was, how do you lose weight, basically? How do you lose weight?
Again, you lose weight by eating less and moving more. That's simple. And if you're...
Or eating the right foods?
No, again, but I'm just giving you no animal wants to be skinny, but if you want to gain weight, eat more fatty meat, move less. You want to lose weight, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, it sounds like you are a very active person, and there is something to say regarding over exercising and that also increasing inflammation. I mean, I speak this with a lot of personal experience because, of course, over exercising is quite a common symptom with anorexia and bulimia even. So I know that I become very inflamed when I'm overdoing my exercise, and specifically cardiovascular training. Or even HIIT training. I just become a ball of inflammation. That is just me, I know, and I'm a different age and I'm a different gender to you. But it does seem that you are a very active person, and that stress and high cortisol state, it can be very difficult to lose weight. So that could be something.
Well, if you don't eat, I didn't eat. I talked to, oh my God, I can't remember his name. He did 42 days of fasting, lost 62 pounds, didn't eat at all.
Yeah.
I have his name.
The human body is like every other organism. It's no different. But our ability to say, I don't eat anything. How good is that? I keep on gaining weight, but I eat nothing. Right? And so our ability to see and understand the caloric value of what we eat is very difficult because, as you said, our gut issues may define our absorption or not, but ultimately, overexercise is the 5th leading cause of disease. Overexercise. No other animal intentionally exercises to get skinny because that has no value in survival.
Yeah. You don't really see animals exercising.
No, they do not, because for them to say, you know what? Let me get skinny quickly, for what value? None.
Yeah.
There is no value into taking a GLP-1 or to trying to lose weight. If you can imagine, again, a polar bear and a bear must gain 1,000 pounds before the famine comes on. Humanity is no different, because look at the wars of the world. What are the odds that someone's going to press a button and suddenly no food for any of us?
Yeah.
What time is it? Go ahead, Kelsey.
Oh wow, it's an hour.
It's an hour.
Kelsey first.
I'm slacking, but I actually did create my actual YouTube channel. I just have nothing uploaded yet. I have 80 plus episodes on my podcast, which is called the Human Theatre Podcast. And theatre, THEATRE, because I am South African, so we spell it like that. But you can find that on Spotify and Apple, so the Human Theatre Podcast. I mean, also, if you follow me on Instagram, that's kind of where I'm most active, so I'll be sharing. But I do actually have a YouTube channel as of yesterday. I just haven't uploaded anything, so watch the space because I do need to upload all of my 80 episodes onto there. But one more thing regarding the BMX biker that you could possibly look into. It does seem that you do a lot of cardiovascular training. I would say possibly focusing on possibly even like reverse dieting and building a lot of muscle, because muscle is quite metabolically active and you can kind of just change your body composition so you can, build more muscle and decrease your body fat. Of course, muscle is the organ of longevity, so that is just something else that you could possibly think of or go down a rabbit hole.
What if fat is the muscle, is the true healer of longevity, and moving in motion is critical. Moving in motion and getting on like Kelsey is doing and sharing the word and traveling the world is so important, Kelsey. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor to meet you in person. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you everyone for this opportunity.
You're
I don't
so
know if you
welcome.
can see this. Can you
Causes
see
of
that?
inflammation, glucose, plant antinutrients, and antigens, plant phytochemicals. Is that the FODMAPs? Fermentable.
Well, it's just
I don't know.
fermentation.
What's the last one?
Exercise.
Yeah.
Exercise. Think about all the athletes of the world. Do they live longer, healthier?
Yeah, there's a difference between athletic and fitness and health.
Well, right, but our fitness is health is keep exercising and keep moving. Repetitive exercise is like taking your Ferrari, loaning it to your friend to put more miles on it so it lasts longer. Just a thought and idea. All right, and is been carnivore 8 months and lost 20 pounds, cut alcohol 2 years ago. What's thoughts on matcha or half caffeine coffee with raw cream? FET just failed. What do you think about coffee and matcha?
I definitely, full disclosure, I do have coffee. I have a good quality coffee that I do have 1 cup a day. Some people shouldn't really be having it. I think it depends how you tolerate it. I'm definitely more for coffee than I don't know too much about matcha. I haven't really gotten. I tasted it for the first time at the AccuHealth conference, and it was actually nice. But I don't know. I know that there are anti-nutrients in there too. I'm not sure. I don't know enough. It's beyond my scope right now.
Well, okay. So we're born to die. In the middle, be creative, get out there in life. But we drive cars, fly planes, walk the street. Jonathan got hit by a car walking across the street. Life is dangerous. You and I are going to become fertilizer. And I was off coffee for 2.5 years. I'm back on it. Who knows how long I'll stay on and off it. I rarely sip alcohol, and but I guzzle life.
Coffee is supposedly very helpful for detoxing liver. Coffee enemas are a thing.
I don't know that. Again, we are supporting our habits.
Mm-hmm.
Again, coffee is a plant chemical. It has tannins and many other things in it that could be harmful to any and all of us. But again, we live in boxes, we drive cars, fly airplanes, walk the street, live with human beings. So again, is life dangerous? Sure it is. Put a smile on your face and go enjoy it. BMX, what is it? Go out there and
BMX biking.
everything we do is for one reason only.
Yeah. But I just want to say, again, not technically, matcha and coffee are both real whole foods. So that is much better for you to drink than I would say a Diet Coke.
It's a seed crushed. cooked.
Instead of seed.
I'm just throwing out again because we sell it, make money out of it. Again, it is still a seed, and are seeds antigenic for humans? I think so, but I do enjoy it. I don't get. I again, you know, we're all supporting the mission.
Mm.
And reproduction is the most important thing in life. So keep reproducing your ideas and putting them out there and making babies. Well, so we're on tonight. What's tonight?
5:30 with Dr. Lisa Wiedemann.
Oh my God.
And
Lisa.
Dr. Nelson.
Oh,
And Dr. Nelson will be there.
Lisa to come. I got to call Lisa because I know she's nearby. I wonder if I can get her to come stay at the house.
Oh,
Studio.
I'll call her.
yeah,
Okay,
that'd be
see if I
fun.
can get that. That would be really fantastic.
All right. Well, there's more questions, but come back tomorrow. We'll answer them.
All right. Kelsey, you're amazing. Where do people find you?
Yeah, so it's my name and surname on Instagram, and then from there you will find me on all the other things that I'm slowly growing as well. But yeah, find me on Instagram. It's my name and surname, and I'll see you there. Thank you, everyone.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. 5:30 for the Kelsey Mighty Tribe call.
KMT